He was one half of one of the most admired couples in Hollywood. A country music superstar married to an Oscar-winning actress for nearly 2 decades. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman. Together since 2005. Married in 2006. 2 daughters. 19 years of what looked from the outside like a genuine love story in a world where those rarely survive. And then, in September 2025, it was over. Nicole Kidman filed for divorce on September 30, 2025. The divorce was finalized on January 6, 2026. And what happened to Keith Urban after that has left fans, friends, and insiders absolutely stunned. Because here is the thing about Keith Urban after this divorce. He did not fall apart. He did not disappear. He did not grieve quietly in the background while Nicole Kidman walked red carpets alone. Instead, Keith Urban did something that nobody saw coming. He transformed. Completely. Physically. Professionally. Personally. And the transformation has been so dramatic and so visible that people who have known him for years are struggling to recognize the man they thought they knew. This is the full story of what really happened inside one of Hollywood's most beloved marriages. Why it ended, what Keith Urban did next, and the shocking transformation that is turning heads from Nashville to London right now. Before we get into the transformation, you need to understand how this marriage ended. Because the official story and the real story are 2 very different things. Publicly, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban said very little. Kidman told Variety simply, "What I am grateful for is my family and keeping them as is and moving forward. That is that. Everything else I do not discuss out of respect." Dignified. Measured. Exactly what you would expect from one of the most controlled public figures in Hollywood. But sources close to the couple told a very different story. According to multiple insiders, it was Keith Urban who wanted out, not Kidman. A source told Page Six simply, "Sometimes relationships just run their course," before adding that Kidman did not want the separation and was trying to save things. Think about what that means. After 19 years of marriage, Nicole Kidman was trying to save things. And Keith Urban had already made up his mind. The signs had actually been there for months before the filing. In 2024, Urban posted about a new song called Straight Line on Instagram, describing it as being about wanting to break out of a soul-sucking routine that you might be stuck in. Maybe in a relationship, a job, with creativity, with yourself. He wrote about feeling alive again and getting out from under that dark cloud. At the time, fans thought he was talking about creative frustration. After the divorce announcement, they went back and read that post very differently. Then came the interview that shocked everyone. In July 2025, Urban appeared on an Australian radio show via Zoom. The host asked him what he thought about watching Nicole Kidman film love scenes with younger actors, including Zac Efron. Urban hung up. Immediately. Mid-interview. Just disconnected the call and was gone. The moment went viral instantly. And in retrospect, it told a story about a man who was already emotionally somewhere else entirely. People close to Urban told TMZ they were worried he was experiencing a midlife crisis. He fired longtime band members he had worked with for years. He told Country Now in April 2025 that he was just listening to his inner voice. His inner voice was apparently telling him to blow up everything he had built and start completely from scratch. Now let us talk about the transformation itself. Because this is the part of the story that has everyone talking. And it goes far deeper than just a new haircut or a different outfit. The first thing people noticed was the physical change. Insiders told Star magazine that Keith Urban has always been fit, but in the last few months he has really trimmed up a lot. The source said he had lost around 10 pounds and hired an entirely new wardrobe and grooming team. He absolutely loves the transformation, the insider added. At the 2025 CMA Awards, Urban turned heads on the red carpet. Not just for his performance, but for a bold new look that showed off his tattooed toned frame in a way that felt completely different from the polished, carefully managed image he had projected throughout his marriage to one of Hollywood's most image-conscious stars. But the physical transformation was just the surface. The deeper change was professional. Urban launched his High and Alive World Tour, kicking off in Alabama and traveling across the United States, Canada, and Australia throughout the summer of 2025. This was not a quiet retreat. This was a man throwing himself onto stages in front of thousands of people every single night with an energy that people who saw the shows described as something close to liberation. His friend and fellow country star Russell Dickerson told Page Six at the March 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards that Urban seemed in good spirits. "He has always been focused on music," Dickerson said. "And so I think he is just kind of doubling down on that, and it is just beautiful. I cannot wait to hear what comes out of it." Doubling down on music. That phrase is important, because the music Urban is now creating and performing is being described by people who have heard it as the most raw and personal work of his entire career. A man who spent 19 years being one half of a very public Hollywood power couple is now making music entirely on his own terms, with no management of image. No careful coordination with a partner whose Oscar-winning career always cast a very long shadow. Just Keith Urban and his guitar and whatever is inside him right now. The personal reinvention extended beyond the stage. Urban played a sold-out show at London's O2 Arena during his world tour. He was seen out in ways that felt deliberately public after years of careful privacy. His communication with Nicole Kidman has reportedly thinned to almost nothing beyond what is necessary to coordinate the parenting of their two daughters, Sunday, Rose, who is now 17, and Faith Margaret, who is 14. A source close to the situation told insiders that by the time things came to an end, the relationship had broken down to a point where meaningful dialogue was difficult, and that situation has not really shifted since. There is still a lot of distance there, both emotionally and practically. Meanwhile, Nicole Kidman was doing her own rebuilding, walking the Academy Awards red carpet alone, promoting new projects including the thriller Scarpetta. Sources say Urban has been struck by how confident and how well she looks, how she has entered what insiders describe as a whole new phase. Neither of them is broken. Both of them are transforming, just in completely different directions and completely separate lives. The question that fans keep asking is simple. Was this marriage always heading here? Was the Keith Urban who hung up on that radio interview, who wrote about soul-sucking routines, who fired his longtime team and hired new people and lost 10 pounds and took the stage at the O2 Arena looking like a man 10 years younger? Was this Keith Urban always underneath the surface, just waiting? His friend Russell Dickerson said something at those iHeartRadio Awards that might be the most honest thing anyone has said about Keith Urban since this whole story began. He said he is a fighter. That's simple. He is a fighter. After 19 years of marriage. After a divorce he initiated but whose aftermath he is clearly still feeling. After firing his team and rebuilding from scratch and touring the world and turning up on red carpets looking like a completely different man than the one who stood at the altar with Nicole Kidman in 2006. Keith Urban is fighting his way into whatever comes next. Whether that transformation is a midlife crisis or a genuine reinvention or something in between is a question only time will answer. But one thing is absolutely certain. The Keith Urban who emerges from the other side of this divorce will not look anything like the one who went in. And the whole world is watching to find out who that man actually is. If this video gave you the full picture of one of the most shocking celebrity transformations of 2026, please share it and subscribe for weekly videos uncovering the real stories behind the celebrities America has always loved. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Were you shocked by the divorce? See you in the next one.